Hey everybody, it's Billy here from the Dead Time Radio Show. This next episode is something a little bit of a sensitive subject, so I wanted to put a little forward before we start the show. We've all lost somebody from suicide, so I wanted to give you guys some numbers if you have somebody that really needs some help. The suicide hotline number is the 800 number, 800-273-8255. There's over 161 crisis centers. If you know somebody that needs some help, have them call. Or they can text in U.S. and Canada at 741-741. In the U.K., it's 85258. In Ireland, it's 50808. There's also a number for the deaf and the hard of hearing, 800-799-4889. Don't let your family members lose out. If they need help, get them the help they need. Thanks for listening, and here's the show. It's Billy, and this is the Dead Time Radio Show. I'm here with my buddy Don. Hi, Don.
Hey, what's up?
Tonight's episode's going to be kind of cool and creepy.
Creepy.
Because everybody likes creepy. I don't know why. Maybe because they're creepy. Are you creepy, Don?
Yes.
That's why you're my friend.
Absolutely creepy.
I hope everybody's doing okay. We've had a good week. How was your week?
Well, yesterday I had to go to the dentist. And then I hate going to the dentist. So I had my teeth cleaned, and then I had cavities. So they had fixed my cavities. They're in between my teeth.
You had cavity creeps?
I had cavity creeps. Yeah, they had to drill out the sides of my teeth, and then
people totally do not know what cavity creeps are anymore, and it's very sad.
I don't know what a cavity creep is.
What? You never saw that cartoon commercial in the Saturday morning cartoons when you were a kid of the cavity creeps?
Not that I can.
They call me Yuck Mouth because I don't wipe.
No, I don't remember that.
You missed out on some cool shit.
Sounds like I did.
Yeah.
It sounds super cool. Maybe I wouldn't have been as scared.
It was the Crest commercials.
What's that?
Yeah, they fought the cavity creeps.
Yeah, they told me I was brushing with the wrong toothpaste, which, I mean, we don't get
that information. You weren't using Crest.
No, I use a whitening toothpaste, and my teeth are already sensitive, so they're like, you're making them more sensitive. So.
You were using too much fluoride, and your third eye is closed. No. Which is probably better than having your brown eye closed.
You don't want your brown eye closed. You want your third eye open and your brown eye closed.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Hey, send us an email at thedeadtimeradio@gmail.com. We like emails. Send them to us. We want to hear from you. Or you can also click on the Become a Patron button and on Podbean and send us a donation if you like what you're doing, what we're doing. And also, if you send more than $20, you will get a t-shirt. How cool is that?
Uber Coolidge.
People can always use t-shirts. Yeah. T-shirts are the coolest thing. So tonight's episode is all about the creepiest places around the world. And it also deals with some of the places that are creepy that are haunted, like places where people go and kill themselves.
Yeah.
Which is very strange. Very strange.
In my research, it was saying that there are places that draw people to commit suicide, and I know you guys have heard of it. One of the famous ones is called Suicide Forest. It is in Japan, and the stories that come out of there are like uber wicked. That's one of the main ones that when I was doing research. So we're gonna start it off. It's just, I don't know. There's some of them that are completely blow my mind.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I've heard so many stories about the Japanese place that you're talking about, where it's like people go there to kill themselves, and then like some people are drawn in and end up killing themselves.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into this, speaking of weird and creepy stuff, I really saw a cool documentary that I think people should watch, and it's in French, so there's subtitles, but it's all about this old silent film that was made in like the late 1800s, like 1896 or something, called Rage of the Demon. And it's by the same guy. Well, they say they speculate that it's by the same guy who created Trip to the Moon. You remember, like, that was one of the first silent films ever made. And it's a really cool film. Well, this film caused the people to watch it to go hysterical and start fighting each other and rioting. And some people died.
What was it doing?
Some psychological trigger or something. There was, the whole show was all about who really made it, because as soon as like it happened, people watched it. And this happened in 2012.
Wow.
This cinematographer dude found the film and invited all these people, like celebrities and stuff, to watch the film.
What?
And then they were talking to people that were there that they said they don't even remember what happened.
So they were hypnotized.
I don't know.
So it had the hypnotizing.
But like the one guy they talked to, he said, all I felt was just rage and anger in my body, but I could control my body, but it felt like I was having a stroke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why
And
didn't
here's
they
the weird
research
thing.
that?
Here's the weird thing.
Figure it out.
When after that happened and the cops came, the film disappeared.
The cops
And
took
it's
it.
happened before. It happened in the 1930s as well
the
in
cops
America.
took it.
No, they couldn't find the film. It disappeared.
Dude.
It's fucking awesome
Weird.
show. It's a great show.
So do you think the aliens like paused us? And
I don't
paused,
know.
Like, because we're supposedly like live
But
streaming.
the guy's last
stole
name
it.
was Melius or something like that, some French dude, and he was also very interested in the occult, and he had an apprentice guy that was a photographer he was called a spiritist, and he used to make photography of, like, he would take pictures of people, and there would be spirits in the pictures. Some people don't know if he put the spirits in there afterwards, edited it,
Right.
or if they were actually there.
Okay.
But there was a whole big, I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a really cool show. It's fascinating as fuck.
Okay.
But they think maybe this guy made it because he was like an apprentice to the other guy.
Oh, so he had all the
And
information.
he was more into like snuff film type of movies.
Oh.
And some of the movies he made that were silent films, they think that some of the people in those movies literally really died. Like they were killed in the movie. Dude, I'm telling you, it was fucking great. It's called Rage of the Demon.
So stuff like that. So is that your theory on what people are drawn to? Like,
Maybe.
Is it like a reverberation? Is it some
Could be
kind
diabolic, could be psychological, it could be something
Psychological.
that triggers like something in the environment,
Right.
like a chemical that triggers something in their
Right.
primal lizard brain part.
Right. Well,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
you have, that's
Like a
called
fight or flight
your
type of thing?
cerebellum is your primal brain.
Right.
Yeah. So you think it's triggered there?
I don't know. It was
So-
just fascinating
I
show.
know we're affected by radio waves and stuff
Right.
like that. So
Yeah, EMP and electromagnetic
EMFs,
stuff
yeah.
will fuck with you.
Right. So do you think that that's drawing people? Well, obviously, like you're saying, that film completely made people out of character.
Yeah, that
So
film's
it-
on Amazon Prime, and it was like a total, like, every once in a while I'll just randomly find something to watch that looks interesting.
Right.
I didn't know that it was in French, but it was fucking
Does it
amazing.
have subtitles?
It does.
Okay.
It's like there's subtitles for the whole thing, so you can understand what they're saying. So there's not this qui all that bullshit.
Hey, man, we might have some French listeners. They
Oh,
just
I know we
what
do.
you just said.
I know we do. She probably, she probably knows exactly what I said.
You just said a dirty
I said,
word.
"Hey, baby,
Quee.
keep your brown eye closed."
Stop.
That's what qui means, brown. eye.
No, it's not. No.
Is brown eye.
No. No.
All right. So here's the first page we're looking at, and this is U.S. News and World Report. 13 of the creepiest places around the world. These natural and supernatural frights continue haunting all year round. The first one, oh my God, this place is so
Dude.
fucking creepy.
The Island of the Dolls.
Yes.
If y'all know what it looks like every nightmare, every horror movie.
Yes.
It's in Mexico.
Isla de las Muñecas, or Island of Dolls, may be tucked away in the Xochimilco canals of south of Mexico City, but it's become a favored tourist attraction for its population of creepy dolls. According to local legend, when the island's only occupant found a drowned girl in the canal and a doll nearby, he began hanging dolls around the island. Now thousands are strung among the trees. It's unclear if he did so to honor the girl or to ward off any nefarious spirits. The island is only accessible by boat.
Yeah. Okay. So you're supposed to, when you visit the island, bring a doll to offer to the spirits or whatever. So I think it was Destination Truth did, like, they stayed here, and the dolls that were hammered to the trees are like opening their eyes, and just wicked stuff.
Yeah,
So-
it sounds like a fucking awesome place to go visit. Now, my question is it the spirit of the girl that's in the dolls that's causing the dolls to do things?
Yeah, because we don't know if the girl was murdered. He just found her in the water.
Right.
So if she was murdered, and then
What if he
Or
quote
he did
unquote found her?
he did it.
Yeah, right. That
And then
maybe
he feels remorse.
right
So
guilt
he's bringing dolls for her.
because he knows that she's going to haunt him now.
But maybe he murdered her, so he would have her forever. So maybe he kept her body.
Yeah, maybe that was one of the original
So she's
pedo islands.
mummified. She might be a doll in a box
Ooh,
in the room.
that's even
You know, like in
worse.
in a box with the plastic front
Yeah,
with little
yeah.
black shoes with white socks with the little frill around it.
Fucking creepy.
Just painting
so
a picture,
fucking
dude.
creepy,
Just
man.
painting a picture.
All right, let's see. Kigahara, Yamanashi Prefecture, Japan.
Yes.
This is the Suicide Forest, or the Sea of Trees. It sits near Japan's Mount Fuji in
Fuji.
Fuji Hakone Izu National Park in Japan, and is known for its dense woods.
Mm-hmm.
The forest was the subject of a 2016 film, and Vice reports that after a popular novel set in the forest was published, it became the scene of suicides at a rate of an estimated 50 to 100 people a year.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Okay, so the 15 famous landmarks, I think that one gives you more on. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. There it is.
It's the same. There was one that was specifically. Maybe
That's
maybe
just
it's that one. Try that one.
fucking creepy,
So-
man.
Yeah, the one that I looked up, it was basically talking about the whole entire forest. Okay, so when you go there, there are people, they're like, well, you're going to get lost when you're going in. So you're supposed to bring like string and tie it around the string. So as you go in, you can find your way out.
Right.
So what happens is you're walking through the forest and you're coming back the way you know you came. The string is gone, or the string has been moved to different trees. So is that the forest doing that? Or is there a shift inside there? So once you get in, it's like the maze we were just talking about. Are you going into, and then you got to find your way back out? It's a different maze.
See, even just like reading the description of the forest, with taking away from the whole creep factor of the suicides, it talks about how it like blocks out sunlight and sound
Right, Mount
because
Fuji.
the trees are so packed.
Right, but it's right at the base of Mount Fuji. So maybe Mount Fuji's giving off the energy.
Well, it could be from the ash from the volcano.
Right, it could
but-
be something that you breathe. It could be environmental.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't change where your string is.
So it
you
says that
string up the tree to get your way back out.
Yeah, but it says the sunlight's blocked so much that it's like a silent gray color.
Right.
And then there's numerous winding pathways that spiral off into the quiet murk. Even the sparse sounds of birds, insects, and other forest life seem muted here, as if filtering in through a wall from another room.
Ooh, that's wicked. You know, if you're in the forest and everything goes dead silent, something's there.
Right.
Like
And
an animal or something that's
adding an
made there.
additional layer of dread to the atmosphere here is the presence of various odd relics dotting the gnarled roots and underbrush of the forest floor, such as discarded shoes of all sizes,
Yeah.
clothing, personal effects, and even creepy dolls.
Yep.
All left here for unknown reasons and which serve to create a profound sense of foreboding.
So not only that, but while you're in there, because people go in there to camp because they're like, oh, cool, let's go there and see how that is. So when they're camping, they hear this primordial scream. So you're supposed to go into the forest and follow the scream. Like one guy's like, I followed the scream and there was this dead person that was at the base of the tree, but he had mummified, so he'd been there a really long time. So it wasn't him making the noise. So it's a bunch of wicked stuff that.
Now, you and I have been doing our job for a long time. We've seen many people die.
Yes.
Do you ever notice how quiet a room gets when someone dies? And people could be
Yeah.
hollering,
Yep.
but the room's noise just is deadened
Right.
for some strange reason.
Right.
So imagine that in a forest. Now, also imagine, I bet you can smell the death near that forest.
Well, it may not just be the people. It may be vegetation because there's no sun coming in. So
Right.
you have mold, you have
Right.
moss, and it has distinct smells. It could be decomposition of plant life and leaves and stuff.
Dude, it says
Yes.
that most people who end up dead here are not even found until much later, when
Right.
unsuspecting hikers stumble across their remains.
Right, that's what I was saying about the guy that was
Which are
screaming.
often found hanging from the twisted branches of the trees.
Yeah, you're not going to be found because not many people go in there. Because of the labyrinth. You're going in, you're not coming back out.
There are so many suicides here that locals have said they can tell just by looking at a visitor whether they have come to enjoy the scenery or come to take their last breaths.
Yep.
And there are numerous signs hanging upon with messages meant to dissuade such people from
Right.
going through with their dark plans.
It actually says, don't
That's just
commit
fucking
suicide.
weird,
So
man.
is it Mount Fuji that's pulling these people to this forest? Is it
I
the
don't
forest?
know.
Is it the people that have passed away in the forest that
I
have
don't
died
know.
that are pulling people to commit suicide there? So it's really bad there.
So it even says right here, it has the distinction of being not only a prolific suicide hotspot, but also an intensely haunted one, with numerous tales of ghosts and evil spirits wandering through the trees here. Area
Right.
is also known to confound compasses, cause electrical equipment or go haywire, and instill a deep sense of confusion, dread, and disorientation in even the most experienced hikers,
Yes.
with many reporting becoming totally lost even after very short distances.
Right. So it's affecting
Sounds
your
to me
EMF.
like there might be some type of magnetic rock that's coming out of Fuji that landed there,
Right.
and is causing all that issue.
Right.
Because magnets create electromagnetism if there's sources around there that can cause that,
Right.
and that can cause things of disorientation, confusion, dread, all that stuff.
It affects your mental ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just wow. Lost
When we do
time.
an MRI, is you're measuring the waveforms that are coming off
Right.
of your brain. What happens is the magnet stops your north and south poles, and then when your north and south poles start to spin again, then the MRI actually reads that signal. So that's how the MRI works. So your brain's always giving off signals. So it's kind of like when someone has a jammer. You know, you're talking
Yeah.
on the phone or whatever. So do you think that whatever's in this forest is jamming our brain signals?
It might be. I mean, some people are reporting lost time where they lose consciousness and wake up many hours later with no memory of what happened. Sometimes in a different area from where they had been.
So how's that?
So somewhere, it's almost like a Bermuda Triangle. They're
Right, so
walking,
if they go in-
and they're subconsciously going somewhere, and their mind is like completely disoriented to where they don't even know where that's fucking weird, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's the where you wrap trees with this string, right? Mm-hmm. Or you tag it with like a marker, or you know how like when you go into the forest, you tag it with like a
Right.
fluorescent glow in the dark thing in case it's dark. You're coming out, you can see it. Those have moved, or is it your perception?
I think it's
that
probably
they've
more
been moved.
perception.
But or
'Cause
is
just-
it
just
the
from the-
nefarious spirits that are coming behind you and that are taking all the strings down?
Right.
You're
But-
staying here.
You know, because they talk big about
Like Hotel
disorientation.
California,
So
you can come in, but you can never leave.
yeah, maybe that's what it is. Is people are getting disoriented and they lose complete cognitive ability of where they're at.
Right.
And then like when they get their normal self back, they don't realize where they are and they've forgotten everything.
So I know professional hikers, experienced hikers use, you know, the sun, what time it is, where moss is growing on trees to find out where they're going. Like, you know, if you have to follow the water, follow a river. So if you're knocked off course, those are the key things that they use to get back out.
right.
But if the landscape is changing, how can you keep up with that?
I don't know. That's just weird. Maybe they're ants. They're not trees. They're ants.
And the ants are and the trees are moving. Ooh, dude, that's a good theory.
Yeah.
Ants are from the Lord of the Rings. If you guys don't know, they're trees that are.
Most people that listen to us are pretty nerdy. I'm pretty sure they know exactly
I know what
what
ants
I'm
are.
talking
I'm
about.
just saying there might be a new listener that doesn't know what ants are. They're Lord of the Rings trees that can. That are walking
Yeah,
around.
that's just so. In
See, that's a good theory.
2005, they found 105 bodies during a sweep.
Ooh.
and 274 suicide attempts in 2010 alone.
So I'm saying the massive amount is it's
Those who survive the ordeal speak of feeling an irresistible pull towards the forest and an inexplicable desire to be there and die there.
like you want to be one with the forest. You want to be there for eternity.
That's just a creepy
So
fucking
is
place,
there
dude.
like an entity? Is there a spirit
There's
there?
got to be something
Because
there.
you know, I've talked about how there are soul collectors. There are spirits when you go in somewhere that you know, like all these haunted places that you watch on the ghost stories. They have a lot of spirits, but there's usually one spirit that controls all the other spirits, right? So they are soul collectors, and there are known places that have soul collectors. So is this one, and the more you feed it, the bigger it gets. So is this just like a soul collector? Like you
I
go
don't
in
know.
and then you get mesmerized by its. Ooh, that's scary and terrifying.
See, I'm finding something interesting because now they're talking about another place. It's about 60 miles south of the bustling metropolis of Tokyo. It's an
Okay.
island of Izo Oshima, and it's got an active volcano there.
So it's, but is Mount Fuji, is that an active volcano?
No, but this one is Mount Mihara.
So
It's-
it has to do with the magma under the earth.
I think it does.
So,
it's
okay.
a fairly popular tourist destination. Many come here to witness its active lava flow, which is open
Okay.
and easily accessible.
Okay.
From around the 1920s, this fact began to make the volcano a popular place to dramatically commit suicide by diving into the hot lava. Holy fuck!
The floor is lava. That gives a whole new meaning
Yeah.
to the floor is lava.
But it was one such death in 1933 that really launched the volcano's macabre popularity as a suicide spot and quickly elevated this grim reputation to a level rivaling that of Aokigahara. 1933, a 21-year-old university student named Kyoko Matsumoto made national headlines when she hurled herself into the fiery lava, here after being shunned for her taboo lesbian relationship with another female student at the time. The media jumped all over the sad case, and it is perhaps this extensive coverage that made Mount Mihara a fashionable place to go for those looking to kill themselves. In that year alone, 933 people came to the volcano to dive into the lava in a grotesque imitation of Matsumoto's tragic death. And there were 350 more such deaths the following year in 1934. Most of the people who came here to die were similarly those who had experienced bad luck in love, with jilted lovers or suicide pacts between lovers who could, for whatever reasons, not be together, making up the vast majority of victims consumed by the voracious fires of the volcano.
So it has been romanticized of suicide. Romeo and Juliet, classic story. You
Right.
know, it's romanticized that, you know,
That's not
We
romantic
can't-
at all.
I'm
It's
just, it's
fucking-
not romantic at all, but I'm saying the story of,
Right.
you know, lovers that can't be together because of their families. That, yeah, it's
There's
not
still to this day
romanticized at
people
all.
that do that there.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man, you know what? I don't know if diving in lava would be a way I would want to kill
No,
myself.
because you're not gonna die right away, dude. You're gonna feel
You're gonna feel every
single
fucking bit of it.
burn, and then you're gonna be gulping the sulfur.
You're going to
that's
be
gonna,
screaming, and that
gonna be
fucking lava is
horrible.
going to get down your throat.
Yep.
And like, have you ever drank like really hot coffee?
Yes.
Can you imagine
Or
coffee at
pizza
4,000
that
fucking
burns-
degrees?
Yeah, the pizza that burns the roof of your mouth. You're like, oh god, I think I'm gonna die.
Oh,
Just
that's
peeled the
fucking
it
crazy.
peeled the roof of my skin off onto the pizza.
Wow.
Yeah, that would not be a good way to die. It is not. Please go gently into this good night. It is
No.
not. That's not. I guess they're saying they do it for love because that's how much they love the person. But
I
that
would do anything for love. But I won't fucking do that.
I won't do that, Meatloaf. I will not do that.
Fuck you, Meatloaf.
We're not gonna do
I ain't
that.
jumping in no
We're not
lava.
gonna do that because tomorrow's a better day, y'all.
Look, people, ain't no bitch worth it. All right? None.
Or anything that's happening, there's a reason
Yeah.
that you're going through it, and
Exactly.
when you're going through it, you learn something. You always come out better on
It's
the other
fucking
side.
crazy, man. It's crazy. So here's one that they've got in Australia. Just to the south of the entrance to Sydney Harbour is a series of cliffs called the Gap, which
beautiful.
soar to dizzying heights over the
Beautiful.
idyllic ocean views and which have been a popular suicide spot since at least the 1800s. It is estimated that around 50 jumpers a year make their way to these majestic cliffs from far and wide to cast themselves off into death and oblivion towards the hungry rocks and churning waves below. While most of the places mentioned here seem to be havens for desolation and abandonment, this particular locale is known for having a savior of sorts. World War II veteran Don Ritchie lives right next to the notorious suicide spot and has taken it upon himself to try and stop the needless deaths.
Aw.
Over the years, Don has become somewhat famous for approaching would-be suicides and asking them to come to his house for a drink.
Oh, that little guy.
85-year-old has a penchant for approaching jumpers and simply asking them if they'd like to go to his place for a drink. In this manner, Don has managed to save more than 160 potential jumpers.
Look, do we need more Don Ritchies?
Right?
Y'all just need to talk to somebody. It's just talk to somebody. He saved 160 people.
And all he did was simply lend a sympathetic ear.
Yeah.
And he's been so effective that he has dramatically prompted an end to the sheer staggering number of suicides occurring at this picturesque place, earning him the nickname the Angel of the Gap.
Wow.
Dude, that's just another reason why people just can't understand what was so great about that generation. They actually gave a fuck.
They did. They really cared.
You know?
They really did.
And that's what's missing so much nowadays. People just don't give a fuck anymore. It's all about them.
Right. I mean, there's still a few of us that really...
Yeah, but I'm at the point now where people don't give a fuck and they're causing me to not give a fuck about them. And that sucks because... I don't know, man. It's just crazy. But
Well, you had to start looking at the
story.
beauty instead of the negative.
Yeah,
Like,
well.
I have to have rainbows and sunshine.
Ain't no fucking thing as rainbows and sunshine in life, woman.
Yes, there is. I live in it. I live in the rainbows and sunshine.
Here's one in
Come
England.
to my side. I will talk to you.
Here's one in England. Here along the south coast is a series of soaring, majestic chalk. Oh my fucking god!
Spit it
chalk cliffs with striking white facades that reach dizzying heights of up to 162 meters, 531 feet above sea level, and which reach their peak at a place called Beachy Head in East Sussex, near the town of Eastbourne. I've seen pictures of these cliffs, and they're fucking awesome. They're like pure
Oh,
white.
is this Princess
The chalk-
Bride?
like the cliffs of
Is this
Dover type of
Princess
thing.
Bride where
I
they
don't know.
was climbing?
I don't know.
Because it sounds like it. That sounds like Princess Bride.
Right? They create breathtakingly beautiful views, and indeed the name Beachy Head derives from the French word beau chef, meaning beautiful headland. Wow. I know something. Never mind.
No.
Let's see. As it became well known as one of the most infamous suicide spots in the world and the top such location in Britain, people have been coming here to die since the 7th century. Wow. Often traveling from far and wide to hurl themselves from the scenic, picturesque cliffs to the jagged rocks below. In fact, it is thought that over 60% of the victims here are from elsewhere, inexplicably coming from afar to stare death in the face.
Do they think they're going to live?
I don't know. No, they know
They
they're
just
not going to
want
live.
to...
In some cases, people don't even exit their vehicles, preferring instead to drive right over the precipitous
Thelma
edge.
and Louise style. Nice.
Wow. As of the 2000s, it's been estimated that an average of around 20 people a month make their way here to plunge to their deaths among the natural splendor and sweeping vistas. Locals
Wow.
say they are always on the lookout for people who seem to be somewhat detached or otherwise potential suicide candidates, with some even claiming that they have almost a sixth sense for ferreting out jumpers. Yet little can stop the area's mysterious allure for those who wish to end it all.
Wow.
Here's
Man,
one.
that's
Here,
amazing.
here's a double suicide that happened in 2009 by a couple by the name of Neil and Kazumi Puddick.
Oh,
Their
that's
5-year-old son
horrible.
had died of meningitis, and this stripping them of the most important thing in their life made them long for their embrace of death. Wow. Couples allegedly stuffed the body of their dead son into a sack, tied it to themselves, and leapt from the sheer cliffs holding hands.
Oh, it makes me cry.
A bag of assorted toys and belongings of the dead son were left scattered upon the windswept cliff ledge above, either forgotten, abandoned, or as a reminder of a life that was snuffed out too soon.
I got cold chills from head
That's
to toe.
sad.
Wow.
That's very, very sad.
Well, I can't imagine.
Now, see,
losing a
this
child.
picture they show right here?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
It's into the clouds.
Yeah.
It's over. Well, it looks like you're diving into
Like,
heaven.
that's like the fog rolling over the ocean.
It's into heaven.
Oh, fucking A.
It's
If you're going to
beautiful.
jump, that's the way to do it. So you don't see the
No,
bottom.
don't do it.
I'm just saying.
It's beautiful. But that's...
Wow.
Yeah, just talk to somebody, y'all. Let's call the number.
So here's another one, the London Underground subway system, most commonly known today colloquially as the Tube, which is a sprawling network of tunnels and railways consisting of over 250 miles of track, and which was the first underground railroad network in the world, as well as an engineering marvel of its time when it was opened in 1863. Sorry, there was one more underground railroad before that.
Oh, I got you. Cool.
That was Harriet Tubman, motherfuckers.
What year was that?
1861, 62.
Oh, so just right before.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Nearly 300 stations. It wasn't a really real railroad.
I know it was underground because that's where they got the people out. No,
Right.
I understand.
I was
is the actual
letting
railroad.
I was letting the other people know too.
Oh, I think
They didn't
knew.
lay tracks for slaves to
I think-
escape people.
I think they knew
Some people don't.
that the Underground Railroad is not actually have tracks
Right.
because then someone can follow it to
Right.
wherever the hell you are.
Pretty much.
That wouldn't be smart at all.
Right.
These people were highly intelligent to get them out and hide them
Mm-hmm.
in places. So.
So from it around the 1940s, the uncommonly high suicide rate started in earnest, beginning with around 25 people a year, which quickly ballooned to a whopping 100 per year by the 1980s. There are so many such deaths, in fact, that it has long been reported that cleaning crews are forced to store the bodies in cleaning cupboards until they can be properly disposed of.
What?
Typically, the person looking to kill themselves will patiently wait with the other passengers until one of the large, heavy trains comes barreling down the tracks, after which they will toss themselves onto the tracks and under the deadly steel wheels of their doom.
I can't imagine being the conductor and watching
This-
somebody's
yeah, right.
face hit the front of your...
This happens on a
Train.
weekly basis and is so common that train crew have their own code words for these incidents, such as passenger action or one under.
No way.
For reasons that remain elusive, the King's Cross St. Pancras station reigns supreme as the place where most have died, with a startling 145 deaths between 2001 and 2011, as well as the station's Mile End, Victoria, Camden Town, and Archway. The problem is so rampant that some stations have pits originally designed to drain excess water, but have since come to be known as suicide pits. Since they represent a last resort way for a jumper to gain a moment of lucidity, to get out of the way and take refuge from a passing train.
Wow.
What the fuck, dude?
Wow.
That is
Wow.
creepy.
Every week?
Every week.
Every week.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I don't know, man. That
So that's like end all. Like some of the patients that we get are like they take a lot of pills and that's usually a cry for help. So you can, put charcoal in their tummy and pump their stomach and whatever to save them. But that is not, you're done. You're not coming back from that
there's
one.
no change in that.
You're not coming back from that one.
Yep.
Yeah, why don't they do something? If it's every week, why could they not?
Well, how are
Like-
you going to stop it? I mean, I'm sure it happens like at all hours
Like
of
the
the
cliffs,
day.
you can't like put a net around the cliffs. You know what I mean?
But if somebody wants to kill himself, they'll find a way.
I know. But in that manner to where you're traumatizing every single person on that train or...
So, yeah.
Because everybody's standing there seeing them do it.
This one's interesting. The Eiffel Tower.
Really?
Yeah. What many of the tourists who flock here might not know is that this famous landmark is also the location of the most suicides in the country. Despite the installation of various measures such as handrails, safety nets, and railings designed to prevent such a thing, these fatal jumps have happened at all hours, with diners at the restaurant on the second floor of the tower having had their meals unsettlingly interrupted by a body crashing into the roof above.
Dude, okay, so don't eat at the restaurant.
Fuck! The French
Public service
government
announcement.
understandably wants to downplay this unsettling trend and is reluctant to release exact figures on suicide deaths, but it certainly puts a new spin on this world.
Okay,
famous
so you
spot.
know those fireman catches?
Yeah, well,
That's
they
a
have
huge
those.
canvas
Yeah, the
thing?
big, yeah,
So they should put it over the top of the thing
but
so
they
that it doesn't
have
hit
those, and people are still doing it. Can you imagine being in that
No,
restaurant and
no,
you're
I
like
can't.
eating and you just hear this loud thump
No,
on the
because
roof?
my son would freak
you
out
know
and you would have to have
that-
therapy for the rest
That
of his
loud
life.
thump on the roof
You know
was
what
a
it is.
fucking body.
Yep.
I'm noticing a trend though. Okay, the Eiffel Tower is made completely of what? Iron and steel, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then you got the Underground Railroad,
Steel.
which has got electromagnets in it.
Right.
something in electromagnetism is causing people to do shit.
Right. It messes
Because
with
the
your
steel is a beautiful fucking conductor for electromagnetism.
Correct. Right.
And, you know, the Eiffel Tower is lit up with all those lights.
Yep.
So there's copper wiring around there, too.
Copper,
there is an electromagnetic
conductor.
field around there
It's a
somewhere.
huge
So
conductor.
I have a feeling that that's what's going on. A lot of these places have some type of either natural or manufactured electromagnetism that is affecting somebody's brain.
Okay.
That's my
I
theory.
understand that. Yeah.
The only one that doesn't make any sense is the cliffs. But I don't know if there's other things other than chalk that I don't know. I don't know. Here's the one you were talking about, the Overton
This
Bridge.
one, okay, hold on. This blew me away. My husband's like, have you heard about the dog bridge? And I was like, what are you talking about? So Billy's going to continue reading. This one completely threw me off kilter.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is in Great Britain, so it's up in Scotland. It's called the Overton Bridge. And in the town of Milton near Dumbarton, Scotland, is at first glance a humble small bridge that might be easy to miss otherwise among the similar bridges of the area. Yet it is here where dogs seem to come in droves to inexplicably leap to their deaths. Intriguingly, all of the deaths that occur here happen on clear sunny days at precisely the same spot on the right-hand side of the bridge. And all of the victims are long-muzzled breeds such as collies, Labradors, and greyhounds. Some owners have described being out for a walk with their normally happy dog only to have it suddenly veer over to the side of the bridge and horrifically launch itself over, always at the same spot and always without warning. Those who have had their dogs on leashes at the time claim that as their dog approaches the spot, they become visibly perturbed and will tug fiercely at the leash trying to go over the side. There's something that's attracting the dogs.
What? Like what?
I don't know.
Are they hearing something? Is
It's
it a
got to
sound?
be. It's got to be
that we
something
can't
that we don't
hear?
hear.
Or is it a smell? Because
How
my
much-
dogs will like freaking rip your
How much
arm
would
off
it
to go
suck if it's
for
some little
trash.
asshole down there with a fucking some type of a mechanism because he doesn't like dogs or something?
I don't think
You
it's
know?
that. I think it's natural. It doesn't say there's water under the bridge, or
Well, it says
it doesn't say.
One idea is that the design of the bridge simply confuses dogs, with the solid granite walls of the bridge blocking vision and the sound to disorient them and cause their sense of smell to go into overdrive. Okay, now granite is another...
Granite's very absorbing.
Very-
Granite, yeah, like it absorbs ghosts, it absorbs sound, it absorbs,
Right.
it stays in the granite.
Another theory is that the rate of strange canine suicides coincided with the rise of mink farming in the area,
So it's the smell.
with the mink exuding a musky smell which drives the dogs nuts and makes them unintentionally jump to their deaths.
So it's those, man.
Other explanations are more mysterious in nature, claiming that the area is haunted by evil spirits or that it lies on a thin spot between two separate dimensions.
So yeah, then maybe they can see, because my cats are always looking up in the ceiling, seeing something dart around.
Whatever the cause, dogs continue to be drawn here to this unassuming bridge to die for no rational or discernible reason. Now, if you were going to be scientific, wouldn't you want to bring cats to see if it affects cats
If it's
too?
an animal, right? Sheep, cats, cows, but then you would have the chance that would happen to them.
Yeah.
There needs to be more investigation.
Well, you would bring them on like a leash.
Because humans, I understand, we overthink things, we get emotionally vested, but the dogs are happy, and it's just, that blew me away.
Yeah, that's a trippy...
Like, what's going on? Somebody needs to go out there and investigate.
So if I ever go to
what's
Scotland,
happening.
I'm
We're
not
going
bringing
to
my
Scotland
fucking dogs.
with Mara, no, or with Schmeeks, no way.
No fucking
No
way.
way, man.
Smeagol is not going to jump off
No
a
way,
bridge.
man. No way. Nope.
He's already an old curmudgeon. I don't want him to get hurt.
No, he's going to be around for a while.
Yeah. Let's see. There's another bridge in Prague in the Czech Republic.
Check.
And this sits within a small wooded valley which is spanned by the concrete bridge soaring by over 140 feet above, along with its highway, viaduct, and train tracks. Unfortunately, the bridge has a habit of raining down bodies upon the startled citizens from above. The Nusel Bridge is the site of hundreds of suicides, with over 300 such deaths reported here since its construction. Why do people come to this particular bridge to die? No one knows.
Well, if your theory is correct, there's a railroad track that runs under it. And the railroad track always has like a third rail
Yes.
that's giving off all of that.
Well, you're
EMS
causing
is always-
electromagnetism when the wheels. You're causing the wheels. Those are steel rails with steel wheels.
Right. So
There's got to be some type of a Now, look at Japan. They've got those magnetic fucking maglev
those
trains.
high-speed trains,
Yeah.
right? They go 200 miles an
Can
hour.
you imagine?
No,
Like being around those?
that's yeah.
I think electromagnetism has a lot to do with a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Look at how sensitive your son gets around
Oh, yeah.
electromagnetism.
So I have a story. We were looking for a house before we moved here. He was in the back seat. We had like 4 houses in one neighborhood. And then he starts hitting the sides of his head like he's having an autistic reaction. So he gets hit. He's hitting his ears and he's screaming like it's too loud. It's too loud. So he's hitting the sides of his head. So I told Eric, I was like, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. So we drive around the corner. There's a huge power station that he felt or heard the EMFs. This is what we assumed because when we got the hell out of there, he stopped. So I told Eric, I said, it doesn't matter what day we go look at houses, he has to be with us because we didn't hear it.
right.
But he did. So he had the reaction of he could hear it. So he was hitting his ears to try to make it quiet. He's never had that reaction before. There were 4 houses in there, so we had went to the first house. We're kind of driving through a cul-de-sac, and then he had the reaction. So he is highly affected by EMFs. So
And there are people that are more sensitive to it than others, obviously.
right.
So,
Obviously, yeah.
I mean, that could explain a lot of it. That's just like using my logical and scientific brain of seeing, these stories.
Right.
It could be something supernatural. There's no real way of knowing.
Right.
It's kind of like my nose, my beagle nose.
Dude, you smell like...
I can smell shit before it's like even unwrapped sometimes.
Yep.
But
I had a cleansing little packet, and he's like, why do I smell Band-Aids? So that was the Creole oil that I had in a little bottle, inside a bag, inside 2 gloves, and he could still smell it. I was like, dude, you smell that from over there? Like I hadn't even, it was in my bag on the other side of the room. He can smell everything. It's
so I know when somebody farted.
correct. He can smell it before the fart comes out.
That's right.
Like, dude, you need to go to the bathroom.
I'll be
fixing
like,
to fart.
did you fart? I just did there.
I did not, no. I go to another room.
I
Just
knew
don't
you
follow
were
me
gonna-
into a room.
Right. So, okay, so here's something that California can also fucking be proud of.
This is North America.
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
Yeah.
California is the undisputed champ of a lot of stupid shit. But here's another one. It's the undisputed champ of sheer number of suicides in the world. Wow. San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge opened in 1937, and it has since gone on to become yet another one of the most instantly recognizable structures in existence. Yeah. So, besides being a magnet for tourists from around the world, the Golden Gate Bridge also draws in an unprecedented number of suicides every year, with over 1,600 deaths documented here since records began, and doubtless many more who went to their ends undiscovered. The people who leap from the bridge here have very little chance of survival, dying of hypothermia or drowning in the frigid waters below if the sheer perilous fall doesn't kill them first.
Yeah, so when I went to California, I got into the ocean for the first time, and I thought it was going to be like around here, South Carolina. It's a little cold. It is frigid. Like
The Pacific Ocean is colder than the Atlantic.
was not prepared for how
Did you
cold
know
that
that?
water was. No, I'm telling you, I don't know
yeah.
if it's the salt content. It was cold.
Yeah, the Pacific Ocean is actually colder than the Atlantic Ocean. And
It was cold. That
up
makes
in
sense.
Maine, the water's always fucking cold.
But is that because the flow down from...
I'm not sure. I don't know
like
what
you got Alaska on that side too. So you got Alaska and then parts of Canada. So the water may be on that side.
Yeah, the way it
Pacific
flows
Ocean.
around. I don't know.
I could vouch that it's colder.
But yeah,
It
it's
was
fucking
freezing.
cold. When I lived in California, we'd go to Huntington Beach, and that fucking water's cold, man.
So like around here, you go into
like
the
a
water.
bath
You
out
go
here.
into the water to pee. Like I had to pee, so I ran
And
into
you
the
can't
water.
tell where you peed.
No, dude, it hit my feet, and I ran in the rocks and peed on the rocks. I was not going to put my butt cheeks in that cold water and freeze my Australia.
So the
I was
moral
not
of
gonna
this
freeze.
story is don't swim in the ocean next to Dawn because she's probably peeing.
Oh, that's a warm spot.
Oh
Feel
my
that?
God. Somebody needs to put that dye in the ocean so that you can see when
I
somebody
wouldn't care.
pees.
I wouldn't care. It would just smell like
Probably
Band-Aids.
wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Here's an interesting fact. There's only a 2 to
Unless
5%
asparagus.
survival rate for those who take the plunge from the Golden Gate Bridge.
No. At least there's a survival rate, though.
The rate of
Thinking
suicide
positive.
The rate of suicides here has long been so insanely high that San Francisco officials stopped posting public records on the number of such deaths in
Hmm.
1995 in an effort to discourage copycat
So
suicides.
they just stopped keeping track of it, or they just stopped posting it?
They just stopped posting it. Nevertheless, the deadliest month ever recorded for the bridge was August of 2013.
Why?
Which at least one jumper every 3 days leapt from the scenic bridge.
What was it? What was 2013?
I have no idea.
What was happening?
2012.
Because it was 13?
2012 was the year before.
No
the end of
shit.
the
That's
world.
how chronological works.
December 21st, 2012 was supposed to be the end of the world.
That's August, dude. This is like
I understand that, but maybe
months
people
later.
were upset that the world didn't end.
8 months later.
And they were like-
totally forgot about
Yeah, right?
2013.
They were
or
like, I'm done.
2012.
I just
No.
can't handle it. Here we are 8 months
It's
into when the world was
summertime.
supposed to be done, and
It's
I'm still alive.
2013. No.
Who the fuck
Now,
knows?
Then you lived to 2020.
Right? Who the fuck knows,
So
man?
then you got COVID. So
You just...
and then you died.
Not in 2013, you didn't.
I'm saying you live
Yeah.
7 more
yeah,
years,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's-
People, you just some people just are wired differently, and they.
I just would like to research what's happening in August 2013 to make them.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
every 3 days somebody was jumping at that time.
The bridge has its own highway patrol task force aimed at preventing suicides here. And in 2014, a plan was approved to install a steel safety net under the bridge to catch those who jump and prove as it. Okay, if it's a steel net,
Are they going to be shredded like faces of
it's
death?
like going through a fucking cheese grater,
Oh, that's awesome. Are they videoing it? Is there
I
like a
don't know.
live stream?
dude.
That's faces of death.
Yeah, how is a steel net gonna? How far are they putting that
Like-
steel net?
Steel net, like what does that mean? Like is it like a trapeze net?
No, it's like
like
it's like
steel-
chain link fence net.
No way.
I mean,
So I'm going to just catch your bodies.
they must be putting it like 10 feet below where people would jump, because there's no way that you would put that any further
No,
down.
because you're right. You're just going to squish through all the
Yeah,
holes.
it's going to be like making your own julienne fries.
It would be. Like you're talking about that guy's leg where it just came off. That would be exactly what that would be.
Another notorious suicide bridge in California, although not nearly as famous as the Golden Gate, is the Colorado Street Bridge in Pasadena. 15-foot long bridge was completed in 1913 and has the distinction of being the end of the infamous Route 66, which has its own cloud of mysteries. It spans a deep canyon between the San Gabriel Mountains and Los Angeles River and has accrued so many suicides that it is commonly called Suicide Bridge. Since construction was completed, nearly 200 people have met their doom here, and no one is quite sure why they chose this particular place to carry out their grim deed.
Wow.
Wow, this bridge was closed for a time before being reopened again in 1993. Interestingly, in attendance for this reopening was a woman who had been tossed from above in 1937 by her own mother before she committed suicide herself. Wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
So she lived, it said the baby was caught in the tree. So she was jumping off the bridge and she threw her baby. But the
fucking crazy
she
bitch.
threw the baby first.
So
and
she
then
threw
jumped.
the baby over and then
And
was
she
going to
jumped.
jump.
Right. And
then
the baby
the tree
got
caught the baby.
Yes.
Wow. So even, look at this. Authorities have estimated that even with safety precautions such as nets and railings, there's still around 10 deaths a year linked to the Colorado Street Bridge, and it comprises 10% of all suicides in the city.
Wow. Second only to the Golden Gate.
Yeah.
Golden Gate Bridge. Wow. Oh, this is the other one I was thinking. That was
Niagara
looking at.
Falls?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a very pretty place.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it says it, long history of people pulling people over regardless of whether it's intentional or not. But you remember back in the 1920s, I think, or even earlier, there's people that have gone over it in barrels.
Yes.
That was like a big
To
thing.
try to
Fucking weird.
to try to say they did it.
Yeah. Between 1850 and 2011, there have been an estimated nearly 3,000 people who have seen this majestic view as their last sight, with doubtless even more who were simply never recorded. This is so many, in fact, that it ranks only second to the Golden Gate Bridge. Wow. Most suicides here seem to occur at the Horseshoe Falls, although no one really knows why.
Niagara Falls.
Now, again, you're dealing with something that's creating energy. Waterfalls create a shit ton of energy.
Yes.
And I believe that they use that to have electricity. They've got generators down there that they take the water and they generate electricity.
Yes.
And what does electricity generate? Electromagnetism.
EMS. Yep. Electromagnetic frequency, yes. So that could be.
I don't know, man. 3,000 fucking people, dude. Horseshoe Falls. 25 people each year take it upon themselves to make the journey here to meet their end, and this number does not seem to be abating. Interestingly, the most popular day and time for people to take their last gander at the majestic scenery is on Mondays at around 4, with Memorial Day weekend being often designated as the suicide season, which culminates into what has been called an orgy of death in September.
Dude.
There's so many bodies turning up, bobbing about in the frothy waters at the base of the falls that the famous Maid of the Mist tourist excursion boats are often tasked with fishing the corpses out of the water.
Man.
The rate of death is difficult to staunch here, as there are so many places from which people can jump, making control of the area difficult at best.
Wow. Dude.
That's fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's bad enough you had the fucking barrel jumpers. But can you imagine? Oh my God. Could you imagine being on that boat tour? Next thing you know,
the
a body
captains are
splashing in the water.
Pulling it, using those whale things with like a hook
and
on
to
it.
your right, you can see the falls. Don't look over
right.
here.
Yeah, look, we just pulled 3 bodies out.
As he's fishing out a fucking body.
Throwing them in the
And then another one
fish hole.
falls on the right as you're fucking... Oh my God.
Yeah, talk about needing some therapy.
Oh my God.
Dude.
So, in Canada, there's...
It's worse than the Eiffel Tower restaurant.
Right?
You can see it.
That's crazy. In Canada, there's the Prince Edward Viaduct, an enormous 5-lane bridge in Toronto. And it's made it difficult to determine just how many of the many deaths that have occurred here are intentional or not, as the railings here are alarmingly low for such a potentially dangerous spot. These railings were originally so low, in fact, that it was not unheard of for people to accidentally stumble or trip over them to go hurtling over the edge.
Dude, it was accident.
And they're easy to climb for adventurous souls looking to get a better view from the top.
That's those freaking Instagram famous people that climb over stuff and take pictures.
YOLO.
Exactly.
It was this poor design and ease of climbing the low railings that propelled the Prince Edward Viaduct to its sinister reputation as one of the most active suicide hotspots in North America, at one point drawing in around 2 such deaths every month. Noticing this startling trend, authorities have made efforts to curb the suicides by installing a series of steel roads to act as a suicide barrier. This barrier, called the Luminous Veil, has been instrumental to effectively ending the viaduct's reputation as a good place to go to die.
Wow. So my question, when there's water underneath, do you think it is the surface tension that's like concrete when you hit it, or like some people jump in to water thinking that it, like you jump off
that
of
it'll be like jumping into a pillow and it's going to be soft. No, you're going to
like
break
quarries,
your fucking
because we were growing up,
bones.
there was a quarry that you jumped into, and there's like a historical,
But
or
have you
there's a
ever,
story,
like-
there's a crane in the quarry.
You ever like belly flopped from the high dive? It fucking hurts,
Belly
man.
flop from the diving board, and
Yeah.
I can't imagine high dive. You get
Right.
disemboweled.
So
Just rip your colon out,
fucking prolapse.
floating around you.
Yeah.
23 feet of small intestine, 9
Right.
feet of large intestine. You better put that back in there. How am I getting that back in there? How did that fit in there in the first place?
Oh my God, I hit it so hard it came out my butthole.
Butthole again.
Chernobyl is a closed but not fully decommissioned nuclear power station in the restricted Chernobyl exclusion zone north of Kyiv, Ukraine. The facility was evacuated on April 27, 1986, after a catastrophic nuclear accident, still regarded as the most devastating nuclear accident in history. Abandoned structures reveal the frantic pace of abandoning the city of nearby Pripyat.
Oh, that was just that one.
That was
Chernobyl.
it. So there's a big suicide place in Chernobyl.
No, you're the
that's just the
creepiest
world's
places.
creepiest places. I've heard some
switched
creepy
over.
shit about Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Super creepy shit.
Destination Truth
about-
went there, man. There's
like-
people still there.
Yeah.
They're ghosts. You can see them on the
Yeah.
FLIR, which is like where they can see
Forward-looking
body heat.
infrared radar.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But you can see them on
You
there.
pro-
They're
you
like,
probably didn't even know what that meant, did you?
no.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Thank
Do you know where it was invented?
No.
It was invented for airplanes, fighter jets.
Are you Wikipedia right now?
No, I'm Billipedia. It's much better than Wikipedia because my facts are truth.
Did you write Wikipedia? Are you updating Wikipedia with your facts?
No.
You probably should.
Because Wikipedia has bias. I have no bias.
You have. I am not
Not
even
when it
going
comes
there.
to facts.
Y'all, how many episodes have y'all heard? Okay, y'all gotta stand behind me on this. This man just said
I have no
on
bias.
the radio,
Because I speak truth, motherfucker. I speak truth.
Billy of Belandia truth. Nobody else's truth but your own, dude.
That's the only truth that matters.
No.
Oh, shit. So here's some creepy
We gotta
places.
stay there at the Stanley Hotel. I want to stay at the Stanley Hotel.
The Stanley Hotel is like, if people
In
have never
Colorado.
seen The Shining, that's where that movie
That's
was
what I mean.
filmed.
We gotta take
And it's supposedly one of the most haunted
Patreon
places
visit.
in the West.
That's what we need to use our Patreon money for. We need to take all the money and
Mm-hmm.
then just travel around and go to wicked, creepy
Wicked
places.
cool.
So when you donate your money for Patreon, put a suggestion. Hey, I want you to go here with this money.
Capuchin catacombs in Palermo, Sicily, Italy. That looks fucking awesome.
That's wicked. They're
They're burial
mummified.
crypts in Palermo, Sicily, in southern Italy. They draw visitors as a somewhat gruesome tourist attraction. The catacombs act as a cemetery to an estimated 8,000 mummies that line the walls. Some of the human remains are now skeletal, while the catacombs also hold well-preserved bodies.
Look at this dude right there. He's looking down like, get off my shoulder. I got to
Right.
stand here for 8,000 years.
Yeah,
You get your head off my shoulder.
right? Quit sleeping on me,
Like his
fucker.
head leaned
It's
over.
eternal sleep now.
And the other skull's looking down at the skull on his shoulder like,
The last
Get off
body
me.
was interred at the site in 1920.
wow, they're just standing there. That'd be me, like in Primordial Scream, your teeth fall out.
Now,
and
could
your
you
face
imagine
open.
if you're walking through that looking and you felt somebody tap your shoulder?
Or
and
you
go,
saw a spider crawl out of
hey,
their
buddy,
mouth?
you got a cigarette?
Dude,
Oh,
don't do that. Don't walk up behind somebody and ask for a cigarette.
Right? In a place like that. Bran Castle, of course, Dracula's castle in Romania, which I'd love to go see. And that's supposedly very haunted.
The Bron Castle?
Yeah.
Bron Stoker's
Of course, the House of Draculisti ruled Transylvania 100 years ago, and one ruler, Vlad III, is said to have been so barbaric that he earned the name Vlad the Impaler.
That's what I
Do you know, here's a little known fact about Vlad the Impaler.
What?
Vlad the Impaler became that because he would impale his enemies in his yard
Yeah, we've said it on one
and
of
then
these
sit and
podcasts.
have dinner.
Yeah, right in front of it. Okay,
front
y'all,
of
the
it.
suicide hotline, if you know anyone or you need to call, is 1-800-273-8255. U.S. and Canada, text 741-741. UK, text 85258. And Ireland, text 50808. So 1-800-273-8255. Thanks for listening, y'all.
You guys,
Enjoyed it.
if you ever need somebody to talk to,
Just call us, man.
send us emails. We'll talk to you.
Totally.
We love you guys.
Love you. We
And
love you. You're here for a reason.
that's right. We want to thank you for listening and give us an email at thedeadtimeradio@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.